All right, well, this article just came out and came into my mailbox here, and this is about deer management pilot program, including cull, gets okay on the North Fork. So this is a problem on Long Island, and I understand both sides of this issue. That we have a deer overpopulation here on Long Island, but I think some of the attitudes of people toward deer are a little over the top. All right, so it says, while many have advocated for the plan, saying deer carry disease and pose a threat on roads to the landscape, others are opposed. So it says, for years, residents have been crying out about the health and safety concerns posed by deer on the North Fork. It's funny how nobody actually talks about the health and safety concerns all these illegals that we have coming in pose. But anyway, I'll read the article here. It says, this is in the patch. It says, a deer management pilot program proposed for Southold, one that has fierce advocates and staunch opponents, has been signed into law by Governor Kathy Hochul of New York and New York State Senator Anthony Palumbo announced on Monday. The new law, he said, is designed to combat and help reduce the impact of the region's deer population in the town of Southold and serve as a model in an effort to expand the program throughout the east end of Long Island. The plan allows for the New York State Department of Environmental Protection and it's actually DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation. DEP is New Jersey. And Southold Town to offer deer culling by professionals in controlled circumstances. A controversial deer cull in Southold Town in 2014 sparked both applause and vehement opposition, including litigation, as some cried out against the killing of deer by sharpshooters. In addition, the new pilot program allows for an extension of firearm hunting in January, hunting by young people 12 and 13, the use of crossbows, and the elimination of acreage minimums. Now, we know we're going to talk a little bit about the January firearm deer hunting season and the policies that go along with it that I have a big problem with, and it's not the hunting. But anyway, getting back to the article, the region's deer population is a major concern for area farmers and residents alike. The exploding deer population causes millions of dollars in crop loss each year, has led to an increase in motor vehicle accidents, and poses health risks to family due to the spread of Lyme and other tick-borne illnesses. Palumbo said, well, deer aren't the only hosts for these ticks. They can be on rodents. They can be on any animal. So to blame just solely the deer for the ticks is ridiculous. This new law, which has broad community support, will provide the town of Southold with the tools it needs to reduce the deer population. This program will be a benefit to the agricultural community and residents and bring balance to the region's ecosystem and protect the environment. Under the new law, the town of Southold will work with the New York State DEC, they got it right this time, to ensure all guidelines are met for the taking of deer and to monitor the effectiveness of the program. Many in the community have long lauded the pilot program. In April, Arnold Blair kicked off a Change.org petition to support the NYS legislature's pilot deer management program in Southold Town. Help stop the growing public health, public safety, environmental, and economic crisis caused by the out-of-control deer population on the North Fork, he wrote. I have to laugh because we have an out-of-control human population, actually. That's a lot of these idiots have moved out east. I think they actually pose more of a problem than the deer, and it's funny because it's these idiots that have moved out there that have a problem with the deer and want the deer gone. I just find it really interesting. All right? Idiots is a term for, rich person from the city who was a snob, basically. But anyway, getting back to the article, it says, the town of Southold is experiencing an explosion in its deer population. This has led to a startling rise in deer vehicle accidents, tick-borne illness, and ecological devastation. Deer collisions in Southold are 2.5 the national average, cruelly killing and maiming deer. Ecological devastation? Have you seen what the southern pine beetle has done? Anyway, Blair added that the lack of natural predators has led to a deer overpopulation, which is unmanageable with the tools currently provided by the law, and that is true. That is true. I think that another factor that's not being brought up in this article is actually climate change, because the winters are milder. Deer that normally wouldn't survive the winters are surviving. So the winter is kind of like a cold, chilly winter is kind of like a way to control the population. But because the winters are milder, they're reproducing more and more of the fawns are surviving And it's also leading to an overpopulation. Of course, that's not brought up in the article because nobody really wants to talk about climate change. But anyway, our deer inundation has seriously inhibited forest regeneration, reduced desirable biodiversity, and destroyed property, he said. Most laws around deer hunting were crafted at a time when deer were considered a scarce resource. Today, these strict parameters hinder attempts to effectively limit deer populations to sustainable and healthy levels. We have deer hunting for almost the entire month of January. So I don't know. How that could not be enough. But it says the DEC, Blair said, has called Southold's deer-related problems severe, widespread, and a threat to human health. In a 2021 poll, 91% of Southold residents say they know someone who has had a tick bite resulting in a tick-borne disease. 94.2% said they wanted Southold to take action. So they're blaming the deer instead of climate change, basically. Yeah, they're blaming the deer instead of climate change because, what about look at what you're driving. How many of you are driving oversized vehicles that you don't need? Yeah, this is what kind of pisses me off. So anyway, getting back to the article, it says New York State Senator Anthony Palumbo and Assemblyman Fred Thiel have proposed legislation to establish a deer management pilot program in Southold Town. This pilot program will be under the purview of the DEC. The DEC will be given full authority to issue, modify, or repeal any rules or regulations regarding the recreational deer hunting season as they deem necessary, allowing the DEC to constantly monitor the changing situation and react quickly. The town of Southold will work alongside the DEC to develop rules and processes for the sale and effective management of the program. This should also serve as a blueprint for future partnerships between municipalities and the DEC. The deer population has been one of the chief complaints voiced by residents in Southold Town for more than a decade. In 2013, a crowd of almost 300 filled the Southold Town Recreation Center for a deer management forum organized to bring a multi-pronged approach to the escalating problem, demanding answers and pleading passionately for help. One by one, they stepped up to the podium to share stories that resonated with the common theme: the havoc wreaked upon their lives by herds of deer roaming through residential neighborhoods and backyards. Oh my God! We're living in the country. We have deer! Stories of car accidents, crops, destroyed lawn, and other tick-borne diseases, even death. And a common cry was sounded, "Cull the herd! We moved out from the city. We don't want these animals roaming through our towns." Others have strongly opposed the program. John D. Leonardo, president and executive director of Humane Long Island, told Patch, nearly a decade ago, federal sharpshooters partnered with Southold officials and the Long Island Farm Bureau to wage war on deer in Southold. Their efforts failed miserably, but it appears no lesson was learned and that officials are determined to waste more tax dollars on cruel and outdated management techniques that will endanger wild and human residents alike. He added, Pennsylvania-based Erie Insurance found that the opening day and opening Saturday of deer season are two of the most dangerous days to drive. The Missouri Insurance Information Service reported that hunting is a major factor in the rise in deer vehicle collisions in the last 3 months of the year. When hunters turn our suburbs into war zones, terrified deer run off and onto the road. Well, I don't agree with him there either. All right? Not against hunting. As both an anthrozoologist and former nuisance wildlife control operator, D. Leonardo said he feels lethal wildlife management is not effective. The high reproductive rate of deer can quickly compensate for declines in population, and deer exhibit higher productivity when they are subjected to intensive hunting. In other words, they bounce back. Survivors simply start new families with renewed vigor and plentiful food and territory. He advocated for non-lethal management methods such as immunocontraception, and that's something that would make a lot more sense in my opinion. Strider light reflectors, fencing, and repellents, which he said are truly humane and effective at managing deer long term. And unlike hunting, none of these result in fatalities to either deer or humans. D. Leonardo also noted that the Humane Society of the United States has said that the killing of deer will not reduce incidence of Lyme disease. Instead, he advocated for avoidance of tick bites and the use of four-poster tick control devices. And it says to read more about the pilot program, click here. So we're going to go over here and we're going to look at this. Again, this is from the DEC. This is the document about this pilot program here that's going to be going on. And when they're going to be doing this, well, it's taking a little while to load here. wonder how big of a thing this is going to be. Yeah, this is a management plan for white-tailed deer. This was actually published in May 2021. So this is not a new thing at all. I'm not going to read the whole thing here about it. But look, all right, we have plenty of hunting in New York, more than New Jersey. All right, and it's worse here than it is in New Jersey. So it's obviously something we're not doing something right here. All right, so we're gonna again go look at the DEC announces again 2024 firearms deer season in Suffolk County. They have the whole month. This time it's going to begin Sunday, January 7th, and continue through January 31st, 2024, including weekends. It's the first Sunday of the month, I believe, the first Saturday or something like that. And it says that it includes weekends. So there was a time when it didn't include weekends. Now it says New York state laws require that lands eligible for firearms deer season must be at least 10 acres of size, but they're getting rid of the acreage minimum. All right. Hunters should check local dancers and to hunt for deer on DEC managed lands during firearm season. Hunters must enter a drawing, and I'm not against the hunt. I'm not against it, but what I am against, if we go look here further, we click this here. Let's see where it goes. All right, here we go. January for all DEC. It says it begins on the first Sunday of the full week in January and continues for the remainder of the month. We're allowed firearms deer hunting on all DEC managed. It's by daily permits distributed by hunting hours, and it pretty much it's going to say here. Well, it was going to say at least that hunting on all state managed lands will be requires advanced registration. So, what it's going to say here, I believe, and somewhere it's going to say it. These are the lists where you can hunt. Right, these are the areas, but there are some county parklands also that you can hunt into as well. But if we go over here, the big problem I have with this, if we can find it, of course, because now it doesn't seem to want to be over here. But the big problem I have with this is that if we go to DEC seasonal access permit. All right, so this is the permit that is required for anyone who likes to free. It's a free permit, but it says here state managed DEC, the state managed permit. All right, so seasonal access permit. So this is the seasonal access permit, and this has to be and this is the regulations for use. So if you go over here, you'll see that if we go over here, we scroll down over here, permit hours are not valid during any here it says not valid for any other activity during January firearms deer season or until noon of each day. Yeah, they don't want to allow people to hike when there's hunting going on. All right, so that's the problem that I have with it, and New Jersey doesn't have this regulation. All right, I don't think it's right that you just have a whole month that only hunters can go hiking in a lot of the Pine Barrens. I don't think that's right. Whereas in New Jersey, let's go to New Jersey. Let's find their thing here. It's over here. In New Jersey, they have a 6-day firearm season. So they don't have a whole month in New Jersey. They just have a 6-day firearm season, which I think makes a lot more sense. I also think the timing is a lot better. And you'll see here, right here, hunters must observe mapped safety zones. It also says park visitors are encouraged to wear bright colors, but it doesn't say anything about people not being allowed to hike. But, of course, we live in the state of New York where we have draconian laws. It's not New Jersey where you can have freedom to hike 365 days a year in most of wherever you want to go. No. That's not the way it works here in New York, where we turn over the woods to hunters for an entire month. And nowhere am I saying I'm against hunting, all right? I don't agree with that guy who in the article who said you shouldn't hunt deer. I think, if you eat meat, what's the difference between hunting deer or eating an animal that actually had a much worse life in a farm? It's a way of harvesting an animal for food. I don't see any problem with it at all. But I do see a problem with, telling people they can't go hiking when there's hunting going on. And this is only in New York, only on Long Island, because New York and Long Island love to impose these draconian rules on people. It's bad enough they make you have a seasonal access permit, which is free. It is free, but it is free. So it is free. So it says this is a seasonal access. DEC is regulation. So you got to have a DEC managed land access permit. All right. So actually they call it managed land access permit now. So now they're calling it a managed lands access permit. So they're not calling it a seasonal access permit anymore. But this is what it is. So everybody has to have this. But it says here not valid during. Now New Jersey does not require you to have a permit in hike in their forest. But again, on Long Island and New Yorkers. And it says here, once again, additional rules for hikers. So right here, hiking is not permitted on properties open to firearms deer hunting during the January firearms deer hunting season, which begins on the 1st. So, again, hiking is also not permitted before noon on properties opening to firearm turkey hunting. So apparently, again, they tell people, you can't hike. And that's a big problem I have. And that's a big problem. And honestly, like I said, I don't know how much longer I'm going to spend here on Long Island. And, if I feel the need to go hiking in January, I'm going to go hiking. No one's going to stop me, all right? Obviously, I'm not going to be stupid. I'll wear bright colors. But, I have a right to access that land 365 days a year to hike, just like a hunter has the same right to access that land. We have to learn to share. But in New York, well, that's something that people don't understand, know how to do. They somehow know how to do it in New Jersey, which is why in January, I got to go hiking in New Jersey all the time. But knowing that, my time here on Long Island, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stay here and stick it out until these snobs force me out. So I don't know if I feel like going hiking in January. Maybe I will. I don't care about the stupid rules. New York can go shove it up their ass. If I can go hike in New Jersey, I should be able to hike in New York. It's bullshit. All right, and that's where my anger comes from. All right, so understand that. So, but other than that, we do have a deer overpopulation. I'd rather see, instead of the sharpshooters, I'd rather just see more hunting opportunities for people, all right? Because I think that's better, and, honestly, to view these animals as pests is the way these snobs think. And I don't think they're pests. They're beautiful animals. But, just because they look cute doesn't mean, they shouldn't be hunted. Obviously, some people think they, because they can provide a sustenance. They can provide a meal. They can provide food for people, that's why I'm not against the hunting of deer. I am against ridiculous regulations telling people they can't go hike when there is hunting going on. And that's an abuse of power by New York State. And somebody's got to draw the line and say enough's enough with these bullshit regulations. It really is. We're like one of the only states that doesn't allow people to hike when they're hunters. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hunters and hikers can coexist just fine. But again, some people, they just think they don't know how to share, and that's the way it is in New York. We have a bunch of arrogant, selfish, snobby people that inhabit Long Island, probably more than any other part of this country. And this is what you get. The articles like this, people have hatred toward the deer. To blame them for the disease, to blame them for all these problems, when it's really climate change that's contributing to all of this. But they don't want to see that. They're stupid. They're ignorant. That's the way people are on Long Island. They're assholes. And it's my home. It's where I live. But, I don't know for how much longer, And, I'm not going to let these people tell me I can't go hiking. Fuck that. So, anyway, that's all I'm going to say in this whole thing. New York DEC, they're spending all this money on this, yet if they took the same kind of action when it came to southern pine beetles, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now with losing like a quarter of our pine barrens to these damn things. All right? But no, they're more upset about the deer. That's your priorities, people on Long Island. Like I said, people who live here, there are a lot of good people who live on Long Island, but I'll tell you, I think we have more assholes per square mile than anywhere else in this country, perhaps even the world. That's it.